What's up, everybody? This is Tim from Arm Wrestling Secrets, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the most important skill to go from amateur to pro in arm wrestling.
Go! Let's go! Let's go, Tim! Go! No way! Come on, Tim!
Okay, welcome to the show, and let's get right into it. All right, now we're talking about the most important skill, in my opinion, to go from amateur to pro in arm wrestling. In the last video I did 25 advanced skills to take you from amateur to pro in arm wrestling. And there's obviously more. Those are the most I could think of off the top of my head. But there's going to be more things. And I realize it's a little bit overwhelming when you realize how many things the pros are doing. And those are just skills. Those aren't all the little training methods and things they might be doing different in the gym that they're not telling you about, okay? So there's a lot of complication, I would say. A lot of complication and details, obviously, that go into becoming a professional arm wrestler, and from amateur to pro. There's so many things. I realize that I'm going to make a video that's going to pull out the one most important thing for you to focus on, because all the other things, it becomes a little bit overwhelming, okay? So in this video, a special for amateurs, we're going to be focusing on the most important skill. All right, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to set up a bunch of different scenarios, okay, where you're facing the same opponent. All right, your opponent is Johnny, and here's the situation, okay? You're at the arm wrestling tournament, and your name got called to the table, okay? And Johnny's been called to the table. You're going to arm wrestle. Okay, now, we've talked about it pretty recently about how important I think it is that you have made decisions prior to getting to the table. Like, you're not going up there thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll come up with something, okay? Now, that's certainly not the case, and we've covered that, okay? So we've talked about the importance of making those decisions before you're coming up. So let's start with the first scenario here, okay? So your name's been called, Johnny's here at the table, the ref is here, you got your chalk, okay, and you're ready to arm wrestle, okay? Now here's where we're getting into the important skill part, okay? So you've made your decision on your move, right? Like, you have a move. I'm not going to tell you what this is for any move you can do. You're going to have a first move that you've decided to do. That's where the scenario starts. Okay, you're coming up to the table. Stop right there. Okay, so Johnny's here. The match is pretty close to starting, but you haven't taken a grip yet. Okay, so you've decided on what move you're going to do, right? Okay, now that's where it all starts. You have your move. You're connecting with the opponent, right? So you've taken a grip. Okay, now listen. When we're getting into the most important skill, this is the path I'm leading us down, okay? It's going to be gripping strategy, okay? And if you think you know what I mean, you don't. You got to listen to the video, okay? Gripping strategy from my perspective, okay? So you've been called. Johnny's here, okay? You've decided on your move. You're connecting. Okay, now, part one, you have to make sure you've taken a grip that's specific for the movement you're trying to do, okay? So like I said, I don't care what your move is. Whatever move is best for you that you've decided as your primary attack that you think is going to be best against this opponent. That's the decision you've made. Now we're talking about gripping, okay? So you've chosen a move. You have to take a grip that's specific for that move. Like, is lower, higher. There's going to be some type of configuration of your hand or fingers, pressure, that's going to maximize the effectiveness of that move that you're trying to do, okay? And we've talked about that as well, okay? So you're connecting with Johnny here, okay? And you're taking a grip that you feel is going to give you the best chance of pulling off the move that you decided to do, okay? We're going to keep going, okay? Now you're setting your elbow, okay? And it's the same thing. We're still going here, okay? You have a grip here. You're starting to set your elbow, okay? And like I've said before, I'm putting my elbow and my hand in a position that's going to maximize my chances to win. Okay, so I'm not just putting my arm up there and then taking some kind of grip and then staying there. I'm going to maximize the grip that's going to give me the best chance of winning with the move that I decided to do when I came up to the table first. Then I'm going to place my elbow, just with experience in my practice at the table, I'm going to put my elbow in the position that is going to give me the best chance of connecting into that movement. Okay, so I'm not just taking a grip physically with the hand, I'm taking a grip that's going to give me the best chance of winning with the move that I chose, but then I'm setting my elbow position relative to the opponent's, just like in practice. That's going to help me maximize the chance of that move. Okay? Stop right there. We'll look at the next scenario. All right, scenario 2. Okay, so we just covered the basics there. Okay, you got to take an excellent grip. You got to take a good elbow position. That's where I needed to start with this. Okay, so you decided on a move. You decided on a move first. You connected with the opponent with a grip that feels like it's going to give you the best chance, that you've practiced this in practice. You know this grip is going to work for this move that you chose. Okay, and then your elbow position, just like in practice, you've practiced what elbow position is going to work best relative to the opponent with the move that you chose, along with the grip that you took. Okay, so that's very specific. Okay, all those decisions have been made quickly, and they happen quickly. So this is scenario 2. Now you're connected with Johnny again. Okay, you're coming up, you're connected, you chose your move, you got your grip, you got your elbow position. That's great. Okay, now like I said, scenario 2. Now what happens now? Okay, it's based on the opponent. Now you have your position. It looks pretty good. The opponent can now adjust or not. Okay, so when you've taken the grip that you want for the move you're trying to do, and you've taken the elbow position that's going to be best for you, and you're kind of starting to set up, your opponent can negotiate a grip too. Okay, your opponent's negotiating a grip too. Okay, so when you've taken the grip that you think is best for you, and you set your body in a position that's really looking good, that's feeling good, okay, the opponent's going to adjust or not. Okay, now if they don't adjust, the best movement would be to just continue on with whatever movement you decided to do and you set yourself up for, is go ahead and continue with that move if your opponent doesn't adjust. Let's look at scenario 3. All right, scenario 3, Johnny's here. You're taking a grip. Okay, you've decided on your move. You're setting your body for your move. You're setting your elbow for your move. All those things are good. Okay, the last scenario, the opponent could adjust or not. He decided to not adjust to the grip that is going to work best for you, and you would go through with your move. So in this scenario now, we're connecting with Johnny here, okay? And we're setting our hand in the position that we want for our move. There's some type of grip. There's some type of grip that's going to give us the very best chance of pulling off the move that you've already decided to do. So that's what you got to take first. That's what you're trying to get first, okay? And then you're going to start setting your body. In the same time now, your opponent is changing that position, okay? So like I said, in the last scenario, they can adjust or not. Now in this scenario, I'm connecting with Johnny here. I'm setting for my move. Everything's feeling good. And then he makes an adjustment. He feels some type of danger, and he may be a little bit more advanced arm wrestler. Okay, so I'm getting the grip that I want. Okay, now keep in mind, your opponent's going to try doing the same. They might not be thinking on your level, but they're also going to be probably trying to do the same thing. Okay, so as you're gripping and you're taking the grip you want, he changes his position. And he regrips a little bit, okay? So now the first move that you had, whatever that was, now the first move that you had, it doesn't feel right anymore. That the grip is not there anymore. He changed his hand position, or he changed his arm position, or his body position, something that has now threatened that first move that you're trying to do. So instead of a lot of amateurs are going to make this mistake. Instead of now forcing that movement through, the first one you chose, if that avenue has now been taken away by the opponent's gripping strategy, you came up with an initial grip, and then he regripped and changed his position, and he took that first movement away from you, okay? So that's where you need to then readjust your grip, okay? As opposed to just forcing through the first thing you had planned, and that's why you need multiple attacks, is that your opponent takes a regrip, and that's your opportunity to then take a separate grip. And keep in mind, this can all happen really, really fast. I mean, if you're thinking in your mind already of what you're going to do technically, this is a really fast progression, okay? You would come up and you're thinking, okay, you have a first move in mind, you're connecting for that move, you're starting to set for that move, your opponent's moving a little bit, you're gonna re-grip a little bit too, and you have another move you can go to. You have a separate move that you can go to. It may be fairly similar in terms of grip, so it might not be a huge difference in gripping height, okay, but you might have a totally separate move that you can go to if the avenue of the first move has been taken away. All right, so gripping strategy in a nutshell is right here, okay? It's basically, remember, in your mind, you have your move already. You're taking the grip that's going to absolutely, and this is what practice is all about, is you're learning all types of different grips, heights, and grips that are going to maximize the move you have in mind. I'm repeating that because it's so important. Is your first contact, you're thinking, take the grip for the move you're trying to do, set your body for the move that you're trying to do. So everything is maximized. Everything's going in your direction. The grip, the body position, and the height is all set for your movement. And then if the opponent doesn't adjust, or he doesn't threaten you, or doesn't threaten the position you've taken, then you'd follow through with the initial movement that you chose. If he does readjust, and he does threaten the position of your hand, then that's your opportunity to re-grip, readjust your body position, and then have a separate attack that you can go into. All right, so next time you're at your training club, okay, this is one of the best and most important things you can practice. As opposed to just arm wrestling at the table, think about this. You can just come up again and again and just work on this progression where you have your opponent here, you're gonna come up and you just try to get right away, you just try to take the grip that's going to work best for the move you have in mind. You're not telling your opponent what you're thinking. You're just thinking, okay, I have a move in mind. I'm going to try to set for it and just see if he readjusts or not. Because if you can take that, if you can take that position without the opponent readjusting, that's the whole game. And then from his perspective, he is trying to feel where he's in danger, and he's going to try to make a readjustment based on your adjustment. And you can kind of go back and forth and see who can get the better advantage at the start. And that's kind of what it's all about. And just a final thought for the video to kind of bring it all together in terms of going from amateur to pro in arm wrestling, and the most important skill is, remember, from my perspective, what I see when I go to a tournament is that the professionals, and what's separating the professionals and the amateurs, it's maximizing the advantages before the go. It's not so much what happens once the ref says go. When I see the real differences, I see the amateurs very underprepared. The professionals are much, much more prepared to get advantages before the ref says go. And so with this gripping re-strategy, gripping readjustment in order to maximize the effectiveness of your move, I think that's the most important skill you could learn to go from amateur to pro in arm wrestling. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to light speed your arm wrestling knowledge, supercharge your training, and start winning more matches, click on the link in the description, go to my arm wrestling coaching page, and book a session with me right now.